Welcome to 2 Minutes of Gaming, where we talk about the top video game topics of the month for 2 minutes at a time. I'm your host, Keenan, and today I'm joined by
Justin. How you doing, people?
End of the year, end of a decade, so we have a fun show. Like I said, not only are we going to talk about the top video game topics of the month of December, but we're going to talk about some of our favorite games of the decade. So that'd be a lot of fun. Again, favorite, not best. So don't leave comments arguing. But Justin, we're going to start it out with the big news from the Video Game Awards on. Is that on Spike TV still? What channel does that even come on anymore?
I think it was Spike TV.
Yeah, if that's even a thing anymore. I thought it was. Anyway, so they talked about the Xbox Series X, the new Xbox. I know people are confused already, but we're going to talk more about that. Justin, what's your thoughts on the new Xbox name reveal as well as the actual console? 2 minutes on the clock. Let's get going.
The name reveal, I like Scarlet better. I don't know why. Xbox X, whatever. Anyway, I thought Scarlet was better. It was a nice code name. You know, it has some type of power behind it. This one, it's just all right, whatever. But the design is like a computer. You know, it's a tower. It's literally. I mean, it's supposed to. I guess that's just to hold the power of everything. I guess with the graphical power that this thing's supposed to do. But I'm not a fan of this design. I think it looks ugly. That's all I can say. It looks ugly. I don't know why they chose to design it like that. And as far as the name goes, what is the meaning behind Xbox X? Like Xbox Scarlet had a little bit more mystery to it. I don't get it.
Yeah, it's really weird. Like, I think the name is horrible. But it's funny because Xbox 360, which you know is my maybe favorite console of all time, created this problem. You know, and we're gonna get into favorite consoles in another show, but they created this problem because after Xbox 360, what can you call the next system, right? And then they kind of dug the hole even deeper, way deeper, by calling it Xbox One. So can you call this next system Xbox 2? You really can't, right? So, but honestly, they didn't do themselves any favors calling it Xbox Series X. It's just getting ridiculous and more confusing with the names. People are like, is this a new system? Is this an upgraded Xbox One? Because remember the Xbox One had the S versions and all these weird versions of Xbox One. But before we wrap this up, that is an ugly console. Now that is not going to go nice with like everyone's beautiful 4K flat screens and everything. It's going to be a huge box next to the TV. It's going to be horrible. So, on a more positive note, Resident Evil 3 was officially announced. It was leaked before we kind of saw, you know, screenshots and things like that popping up here and there for the title, but it was officially announced. Justin, are you excited? Maybe a silly question.
Hell yeah, I'm excited for this one. I've been waiting for a Resident Evil 3 remake, and the great thing about this for us Sony fans, I'm not sure if it's on Xbox. Well, I think Xbox has it as well. We basically had the entire Chronicle, besides Code Veronica remake, but we have entirely Resident Evil. We have 0, 1, 2, 3's coming out. We have 4, 5, 6, 7, and Code Veronica all available on next gen to play. So everybody can play the entire saga of Resident Evil there. And don't forget Revelations as well. So definitely I'm excited about this. 3 looks good. Nemesis, especially what you get a little taste of his voice in the Resident Evil 2 demo since they patched that up. It's very bone chilling. I'm definitely looking forward to this. I'm waiting. I'm actually, on the side note, I'm actually started playing 0 again because I'm going to go through the whole chronologically the story and wait until 3 comes out. So I'm excited about that.
Yeah, I mean, I waited to finish 2 the second time around just because it's such a great game. You know, most great games you just run through. This one I actually wanted to preserve it. And even after finishing 2 with Claire, that's, by the way, that version is way easier than Leon's. I just want to point that out for people. But you do start to say, you know what, this Nemesis, the Tyrant, he's not as scary as you initially thought. He is scary and nerve-wracking, but this Nemesis is going to be another level. The only thing I'm a little bit worried about is one, I don't like Joe's look, by the way. I've been very vocal about that. But then also, too, the developers came out and said that this one's going to be a little bit more action-paced. And I'm hoping and praying that they don't get too out of hand with certain segments where it starts to turn into Resident Evil 6. So let's just keep it as 2, but obviously a little bit more shooting than 2. So, but 2 was great. We'll talk more about that later, I'm sure.
Yes, we will.
Another game that was announced in the same Video Game Awards was The Predator. Looks like the same developers that created the Friday the 13th game is creating The Predator. So basically, for those who don't know, one person will play as a predator and try to kill, 5 to 6 people or whatever, how many number of players you have. And then you guys will keep switching upon, who's the predator, and you'll have to try to survive. Pretty cool idea. Very similar to Friday the 13th. Justin, what's your thoughts on this game? And also, what other horror movies would you like to see come out with a game?
First of all, as a term, the Predator, I'm a big Predator fan, except for the last movie I thought was trash. I think this is what actually worked. This type of concept, what they did with the Friday the 13th was great, but it's going to work way better with Predator, because not to mention all the arsenals that he has, it's going to be a really good multiplayer game. So I'm really excited about this. This is something I might actually pick up, because I also enjoyed the Friday the 13th games, so I still play it to this day. Now, as a term for your second question on what horror franchise I would love to see get a video game adaptation, a new one, we are overdue for Nightmare on Elm Street. I think if these actors are getting older, if we could get Robert Englund to provide the voice of Freddy, bring it back to the Wes Craven's type of style scares, I mean, you can make this it will be amazing, just as a walking horror simulator, or just a game where you don't know, like in the game, you don't know whether you're asleep or you're not, or you gotta try to stay awake, and then if you go to sleep, then you're in Elm Street level, and yes, you gotta face Freddy. There's tons of ways of concepts to do it. So definitely Nightmare on Elm Street.
I mean, great answer. Let me just kind of answer my first question. The Predator game is gonna be great. It's for a developer, it's like simple plug and play. I mean, they already have the engine and everything intact, but dude, the one game I would love to see something different. Definitely Nightmare on Elm Street, no question. But I want to see Halloween. I want to see something different where, now let me explain to you, Justin, not like the typical games we just saw, but I want to see like a first person set in the 80s or Halloween was the 70s, right? So
yeah, late 70s, but you can put it in the 80s.
We'll put it in the 80s, but I want the whole 80s atmosphere, and I wanted to feel like you're actually in that town where daytime you can talk to people, you're telling them that someone's trying to kill you, and at nighttime you're probably running the whole time trying to avoid getting killed. So,
nice concept.
Maybe I should make that game. But
why not? You're all
I don't know if this is a good story or a sad story or what. Andrew the Giant Waffle just set the Guinness World Record for streaming video games. I think he probably has every record as far as playing video games. For those who don't know, he recorded 572 hours and 30-day month of video game streaming. So for those who don't know, he do the math for you real quick. He did 19 hours, actually 19 point something hours per day for an entire month. 19 hours. Let that sink in. Justin, what's your thoughts on this guy and this record?
First of all, very unhealthy, dangerous. I want to just put this out there for just in case we have any younger viewers, which this is more of an adult show, but just in case we have any younger viewers or anybody who's aspiring to do streaming, this is not healthy. Your body needs a certain hours of sleep, okay? 2, yeah, I get it. He's streaming. He's getting paid for it. Hopefully, he was getting paid for this. Hopefully, he earned a whole lot of cash for this. Because if streaming is his bread and butter job, then by all means, you got to do what you got to do. So I'm not going to knock him for that. Now, the other side of me, the old man, the okay boomer when I'm a millennial, side of me is like, are you insane? Like, this is what you're going to claim to life is, hey, I did this. But you know what it is? To each his own. Congratulations, you got the record. To each his own. I don't get it. I will still never get the streaming thingy thing. That's just me. But I will just say very dangerous. Very, very dangerous on your body. Hopefully he got some rest and he got his sleep cycle back.
Yeah, he actually said he worked for months to train for this, and he worked on changing his circadian rhythm to match his streaming schedule. Listen, I think it's horrible what he did, but he did say he's had an increase in viewership, subscribers, etc. from this. But honestly, if you're sitting at home thinking about doing this, I got news for you. Nobody really cares. The person who did it before, nobody really cared. The person who set the record before that, nobody really cared. There's going to be somebody who breaks this record. Nobody really is going to care. You can't go to a bar and be like, hey, who are you? Oh, I have the Guinness World Record of streaming video games online. Nobody's going to really care. It's not like Will Chamberlain, like NBA scoring record or something, right? Or Kareem Abdul-Jabbar.
It's a very small community, guys. I know people. I know we're going to go a little OT with this one, but I know it looks like streaming is such a huge thing. Like, it's a very, very small niche community. Like,
yeah, very much so. Yeah.
Look at the New Year's Eve last year when he was doing the New Year's Eve thing, and everybody in New York was just like, "Who is this guy?" So it's a very small community. It's not as big as people think it is. That's it.
And we're not streamers, by the way. But all right. On a more positive note, 2019 may not have been the strongest year in video game history, but we still had some. Yeah, unfortunately it wasn't, but we still had some gems. So, Justin, what was your game of the year and why?
Hands down, everybody probably already knows. Who knows me? Who's watching this? Resident Evil 2. Hands down. This game, and the reason why it was brought horror back again. There's been a lot of horror game titles out this year. Have just been a lot of PT clones. Tons of PT clones. And what Resident Evil 2 did was just like, okay, we can have atmosphere. We can have action. We can have actual legit scares. There's moments in here. I know there's a lot of people like, our old game cannot be game of the year, especially if it's a remake. But when you do things so differently, you introduce things and you bring things up to a new audience, and now you're actually setting another bar on what horror is supposed to be. And Capcom is really changing the genre of horror once again with Resident Evil. So definitely I would say with that alone, it's worth being game of the year.
Yeah, I mean, 1,000% agree. It's so funny. I'm watching like these YouTubers and some of these websites are giving these other games game of the year. I got news for you. If you played Resident Evil and actually completed one of the stories, and you don't think that's game of the year, you need to get your head examined. It's just that simple. This game, Justin, you mentioned the scares. I'm not even going to mention the scares. If you were to take the monsters, everything out of this game, it is the best gameplay, gameplay-wise, we have ever seen in the Resident Evil series. I mean, it's not too fast like 6. It's not too slow like 1. It's a perfect balance. Graphics are unbelievable. I mean, the shadows, I don't even think they really realize some of the atmosphere that they created in certain sections. Justin, there were some sections where my own shadow scared me. You know what I'm saying? Where I was like, what the hell is, oh, wait, that's me. Well, you know what I mean? Like, dude, unbelievable on every level. Resident Evil 2, bottom line. On a negative note, most disappointing game of 2019. I think there's only 2 answers, but let me hear what you got to say, Justin.
Kingdom Hearts 3.
Wow, I didn't expect that, but go ahead.
Kingdom Hearts 3, for me, the most disappointing of 2019. Kingdom Hearts 3 lacks heart. That's yes, and yes, I'm all puns intended. I never been so disappointed ever in my life playing and looking for a game for so long and just being completely disappointed. There is the whole point of the game is Sora. That's not a spoiler. Is Sora hopes to get a little bit stronger for the final battle. Problem with that is nothing happens. He just goes to different worlds. The villains tease him or troll him, and you repeat the same cycle. Story doesn't actually happen until the final battle. So now they're actually trying to remake and try to re-add more story that should have been in the damn game with this new DLC. Which don't make, like, I'm at the point I'm so burnt out, but I don't care. Oh, you get to play as Kyrie now. I don't care. You should have been able to play Kyrie in the first place. Kyrie, there's characters that haven't been explored. It was a mess. Most disappointed I've been ever with a game in just 2019, especially with all the hype around it.
So I'm shocked because I thought you were going to go with WWE 2K20, which
I knew that was going to be trash.
I didn't think. But I was actually on the fence, and I'm going to go with Death Stranding for me personally. I think 2K20 is the worst game of the year, but I do think Death Stranding for me personally because it was heartbreaking because it showed me that maybe, and Kojima has one more shot in my eyes, but maybe Kojima needs Konami and he needs that corporation to control him a little bit. You know what I mean? Sometimes too much power without control can lead to some weird game. And unfortunately, we don't really talk about, as we're going to go a little overtime with this one, we don't really talk about Itagaki too much, who was a Ninja Gaiden creator, among many other games. But when he left Tecmo, which that was a whole legal battle and sexual harassment, he had a bunch of issues. But when he left, we saw that he could not do it on his own. He needed that machine Tecmo behind him. So I'm worried for Kojima, and this is why it is my most disappointing game of 2019. I don't care that it won Game Awards at the Game Awards show, which we talked about his relationship with Jeff Keighley, but nonetheless, Death Stranding.
I agree.
On a positive note, we're going to end it with this. End of a decade. What's your favorite 3 games? I mean, amazing games that we've had in this past decade. Amazing decade in general. What's your favorite? Not the best, people, but what's your favorite 3 games, Justin, of the decade?
I'm not going to do it like, oh my gosh, it's my number 1 favorite. I'm just going to list number 1, Persona 5. Reason for that is I think Persona 5 was the best RPG of the decade. It really brought not just Persona to another level. The impact it had culturally, especially if you go to cons, so much cosplaying on Persona 5. Yeah. Great characters. Even had an anime series. I would definitely go number 2. Oh, you know what? This is gonna be a left field one. I really love that Shadow of the Colossus remake or remastered.
Yep. Great game.
That was absolutely brilliant. Absolutely love it. And it won't be complete without me mentioning another Resident Evil 2 again. I'm a horror guy, so that has to be my favorite horror game of the decade. And I played a lot of horror. Definitely, I would say an honorable mention will be Tales of Vesperia. I thought that was a great game as well.
Wait, Vesperia or Vesperia?
Vesperia, the one with the calamity.
Wow. Okay.
Yeah.
That's interesting. Okay.
Yeah.
I'm gonna go first. Metal Gear 5. It took me. Wow. I know you got it, Justin. You're not as crazy about it as I am, but it took me a long time to get into this game. When I first bought it, I was just so busy with life and work that I just couldn't get into it. And when I got into it, man, let me tell you something. Like, I didn't want to do anything else with my life. I just wanted to play this game. And the game actually gets better as you progress. Mm. So when you actually have all of the sidekicks unlocked, the dog, the horse, and obviously, her name escapes me right now, but she's on the screen. But when you have all your side characters unlocked, then the game is like, it turns into a whole other game. Persona 5, let me transition to that since we're doing overtime. That's another game that, again, it was an over 100-hour game, and I wanted more. At the end of the 100, you're exhausted because that boss fight was exhausting and annoying. But nonetheless, you're like, you're wanting more. You're like you're reading stuff online. You're like, how I should have did this, I should have did that relationship, etc. And believe it or not, and I'm not just saying this because it's my game, but 211CK, I'm gonna put it out there because when I look at the 3 games that I spent the most amount of time on, over 100 hours in Persona, over 80 hours in Metal Gear 5, And 211 CK, I didn't put anything to actually gauge the amount of time, but I mean, I spent almost every train ride playing that game, and even creating it, testing it. I still didn't get tired of it, and that says a lot about a game. My honorable mention would be NBA 2K11. I specifically picked the 2K11 version because that was the first one to introduce Michael Jordan, and they had the Michael Jordan like mini games, and you could play like 1991 against the Lakers and against the Portland Trailblazers '92, and you had to get like achievements, like to hit the 7 3-pointers or to do Jordan milestones, which is really cool. And I think that was the first one. 2010, I think, was the first one to show my player, but I think 2011 was the first one to have a good, competent my player that you can actually play and enjoy. So
I had to actually scratch one. Sorry folks. I had to change one one choice. I'm keeping Persona, but I'm gonna keep Persona Resident Evil, but I have to add Spider-Man.
Ooh, good one.
I have to add Spider-Man as I just totally forgot. I was looking at my PlayStation. I was like, oh wait, I'm thinking about the games I spent. Now you're just talking about how much hours. Spider-Man, yeah. So Persona, Spider-Man, and Resident Evil 2, definitely. Those are my top 3 of the decade, folks. Sorry about that.
Spider-Man was great. So, all right, Justin. Well, always another great showdown in the books. Appreciate everyone for watching. Justin, before we go, any last words?
Happy New Year. May your 2020 be blessed. May you get what you are striving for. Never give up. Keep going. Look at us. We keep going. We keep you guys, those who follow us on our respective Instagrams. You see us working hard. You see us what we're doing with our projects. Believe in yourselves. You can achieve it if you believe it. That's it.
Great, Sam. Happy New Year. Till next time.
Later days.